Welcome back, everyone. Nice to see you again, Mark, too. Obviously, I'm outside, you're inside. I don't know why that is. It's just too nice a day here. It's like, I don't know what, 20
A weird
degrees.
November warm day here in Canada, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a lot of things to talk about, but I'm a little disheveled. I just had this major, big umbrella come crashing down on me. It's not bolted to our deck, but there's this big weight on it that holds it. And the winds of November have come early, and it is windy, and it just took the thing down, crashed on my iPad, crashed on my Mac, spilled my coffee. Hey. So if I'm a little excited more than normal, even, that's why. Anyway, that said, hey, welcome everyone. It's Pat Batty and Mark Bittorp with Pickleball Today. We are back. We try to do weekly podcasts. We missed a number of weeks for various reasons. And I didn't upload a podcast last week because Mark was unavailable last week. And I got on, and as Mark knows, and maybe the audience knows, I ramble. And I had intended about a 30-minute podcast that went on about 48 minutes. And when I looked at it at the end, I thought, oh my God, it was just too much. And I wanted to either re-record it or edit it. And as the week went on, I only had time because of some work stuff that was really intense that I couldn't do it till Friday. By the time Friday came about, I decided, let's just do it today. It just do it anyway. So again, Pat Batty, Mark Bittorp, Pickleball Today. We talk pickleball. We're both based in Canada, but we talk Canadian and U.S. pickleball. We're on all the social media platforms, and our website is pickleballtoday.co. So thanks for joining us. So what do we got in line today, Mark? We are going to talk, and we're going to talk mainly pickleball fitness. I'm looking forward to that. How about you?
Yes, it's definitely a key area to improve your game.
Yeah.
So, especially you, Pat, coming off an injury, it's something that's been close to you lately, and you've been researching more and more. So, yeah, let's do it.
I have, and the reason it really did come up is, first of all, I was playing pickleball daily especially during the spring. And in fact, when I was in Florida, I was playing almost 2.5, 3 hours daily. So fitness wasn't an issue. There it was heat, wind, and humidity was the issue. But boy, I was feeling great. And at the end of it, I had lost some weight. I was feeling good. I was getting winded sometimes, but just generally felt good. Then did the big groin injury right at the beginning of July, and that kept me off the courts almost constantly from that point around mid-July to only a couple of weeks ago. And I've tried a few times, and I redid the injury a few times and all that. I've played a few weeks, and what I'm noticing is, oh my goodness, in that period of time, I am out of shape. The groin is really nicely healed, so I have no concern about that now. I had concerns the first time. I was worried and, did a lot of stretching, and I'll continue that. But I was constantly winded. I even these are rec matches, and I called timeouts a number of times.
You don't normally hear a timeout in a rec match, so.
Nope. You don't normally do it. I believe it's legal. And I believe it is. We might have to research that. But I said, guys, look at, either I have to sit down, or I'm just gonna wreck ruin the game for my partner here. So let's take a 1-minute break, and then we'll get going again. And I was fine. But I guess I did it. And a couple of times I called the old pro psychological timeout when they went on a run.
Oh yes,
as well.
Yes, we've talked about that in the past. Yep.
Oh my God! And it worked.
Yep. It does. It throws people off.
Oh, by the way, I've been drinking coffee all morning. I think I see my teeth look brown. So, oh well. I can't post edit that, but it is it's a good coffee. But anyway, call timeout, and it really worked. Like there was a run where they had like 6 points in a row. I said, okay, timeout. And they said, not again. And I said, yep, timeout. And then the partner said, you don't look winded. I said, no, but they got 6 points in a row. Let's give it a. Sure enough, they lost the next point.
Perfect.
So, yeah. Anyway, so if we'll have to double check that that's legal, but I think it is, and it's. I'm not sure if it's etiquette in a rec game, but you don't see it much. But anyway,
I don't think anybody's going to complain in a rec game about it.
And people take rec games pretty serious. So.
You're right. They do. They do. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, what we're going to before I get into any further, I want to talk about not only we're going to talk about pickleball fitness, but we also will have an upcoming guest we're going to get into later on, and I have a really big rant about all pickleball tours.
Oh,
I think not all, maybe there's a couple exceptions not, but I'm going to get into that because I wanted to cover some stuff about Major League Pickleball today, World Pickleball Cup, which was recently played in Peru, and but I'll give you a rant about that later on, because those matches have been played, but we'll get into that later on. So let's get into fitness then in more detail. Let me grab a sip here.
Yeah, so Pat, what are you doing to improve your fitness? Are you a walker, a runner, a swimmer, jump roper? Where are you heading? What's the direction you like to go?
In my life, I've been all of the above except jump roper. Mm-hmm. I do enjoy lane swimming, which I am going to be doing again.
That's good. Swimming's really good. Yeah.
I enjoy it. I used to be in a master's swimming team. Here a lot of the great swimmers were like 6'4". I'm 5'9". They had massive hands and massive feet. I have medium hands.
Yeah.
They went twice as fast as me, but I did it to recover. I had a rotator cuff injury from years ago from tennis and skiing. In skiing, I whacked a tree once that dislocated my shoulder, and then that was in Quebec in February, cold as anything, and it was a cross country skiing on a distant trail, so we had 20 kilometers to ski back, and I literally could only use one arm. So with cross country ski poles,
you pretty much need the poles to help you get up some of those hills and move along.
It was like minus 25 degrees out. This was up in north of Quebec or Mount Saint Anne, and I thought I was going to die. That was literally the closest to death I think I've ever been, because I was willing to just lay down in the snow and stay there.
Just give up. You're just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, that shoulder gradually healed, but what happened after that? I played a lot of tennis, and it kept on dislocating. Then when I was serving, I'm a left-hander, and so it literally pop in real fast.
Oh,
which to be honest, feels about like a kick in the nads. That's what it feels like.
Oh man, so not enjoyable is what you're saying.
No, and you'd literally and then you'd wait for about a minute, and then it would kind of be okay. You'd be gingerly, but I wouldn't do another hard serve. I actually was treated for that by a doctor who was based right around here, but he treated Yvonne Lendl regularly. He toured with Yvonne Lendl. Yvonne Lendl, for those of you who are not my age, was the top male tennis player for a number of years in the world. And in the kind of a little bit after Jimmy Connor, John McEnroe era, in that range. I can't remember before or after, but anyway, Yvonne Lendl was great, but he had a shoulder surgery. Anyway, this guy did some extra, it was called inferential treatment, electronic. Before there was things like TENS units and pads you could buy and all that. So you had all this gear, like it looked like a small rocket launch platform. And he literally was based in the country between here and Guelph. And Yvonne Lendl met him at the Canadian Open, I guess, and so forth. Anyway, I digress. But shoulder was screwed. This guy helped it. But I used then to rehab swimming for a while.
Swimming's good on the joints too, right? So
And so
Yep.
I joined a master's swimming team in Milton, Ontario, and trained with them for a year. Never raced because I was slow, but I used it for fitness. In the
Yep.
total change in my fitness and my body was incredible.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
I've always been a short, heavy guy. My nature is to gain weight. My nature is not to get any taller than I am. You know, 5'9", you know, that's shorter than average these days. Back when I was in high school, it didn't seem shorter than average, but it certainly is now. And anyway, but the year I spent in that training, I've never been in such good shape. And
So what you're saying, Pat, is you need to go to join the local community swimming pool this
yeah,
winter
yeah,
season and start going twice a week probably and
yeah,
get back at it, it sounds like.
that will be one thing. That's one thing. I like it. I mean, it gets tedious when you're in there. The nice thing is, if you don't just join a swimming pool, but join like a master's club,
Yep.
then you have a coach who kind of cracks the whip.
Keeps you
Because
accountable.
yeah, because if you go in like, and again, I know we're not a swimming podcast, but if you go in and start swimming lengths on your own, you go, oh god, and you're counting, and you lose track of your counting, and
Yeah.
you get a little bored with it, and you're doing the same stroke over and over. I do a crawl a lot. I can do all the strokes. One of them does really affect my back with sciatic nerve, and so I try to
Mm.
avoid that. That's the butterfly. But
Okay.
all the other strokes are perfect. But
Nice.
what I really do is a lot of crawl, which really is great for the shoulders,
Yeah.
right? Great for the shoulders, and basically really gets your body in a good shape too, like a
That
V
V
shape.
shape.
You're automatically working your abs. You're automatically
Yep.
burning calories, and you're building your
Mm-hmm.
bulk in the shoulders.
Yep.
So, like, I remember, I don't want to share the pictures. It's embarrassing, but I was an Adonis at one point. With the shape was just perfect. Bonnie took a picture on a beach in Mexico, and I thought, oh God, I wish I looked like that again. Holy crap!
We got to get you back to your prime. Your
Yeah,
second
I don't.
prime. Your second prime's
What
coming.
I'm not 100% sure it's possible, but let's not worry about that. Let's
Yeah.
just worry about I want to be breathing better. I want better muscle tone on my shoulders. I want
Mm-hmm.
more strength in my legs. I want, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I rambled on about why, but the point is swimming is a great tool. A lot of people won't do swimming for it. I want to. The other thing is I'm not going south this winter other than maybe for about 10, 11 days. And going to a swimming pool is a nice kind of warm break in
Yeah.
Canada
Yeah.
in the
That's a
winter.
good point.
You
Yep.
Yeah, you go in and it's a little bit of almost a tropical humid feel.
Yep.
Some of the pools here have a nice massive window along the side, and if on a nice sunny day you're in this warm environment, looking out at the sunshine, even though there's snow on the ground, and it
Mm-hmm.
looks pretty good, right?
Yep.
Some great pools around this area. Wayne Gretzky Center in Brantford is a marvelous pool, and some of the private ones here, and anyway, the rec center as well. Anyway, aside from that,
Mm-hmm.
that is one of my plans, and I was a member of a gym last year that when I joined Court, uh, I stopped because Court, it's a fairly expensive membership. They had a gym there or advertised a gym there, and a few things. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to skip this place now because it's not cheap, but I'm joining the pickleball club. But it ended
Yeah.
up Court didn't have the gym, or at least doesn't yet, that they chatted about or have posted pictures
Yeah.
about in their
I'd
marketing.
I believe the option there is that F45 gym, which they were going to
Yeah,
do a
and it
partnership
never and
with,
it
and I
and it
don't
never
think it
happened.
came to. Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
right. So, but they had it in their
Mm-hmm.
marketing without saying any of that. So,
Yeah.
anyway, aside from that, water under the bridge. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
stopped the other place. The other place I did find though, it's not close, and it's I found the pool kind of a little bit dirty all the time.
Oh,
So I don't like that. So I may be going to Brantford for the swims.
yeah,
It's really nice.
nice.
Or just the rec centers here, which are nice.
Yeah,
John Dolson is nice in Cambridge. Anyway, aside from
yeah.
that, swimming. The next thing is walking. Bonnie and I, my wife Bonnie and
Mm-hmm.
I, have walked for years, and to the point of overdoing it. But it became an obsession, really, for her. Even for both of us. But we used an app called Conqueror Challenges. And if for those of you who are into walking, it's a fun app. And there are free ones and paid ones of these, but Conqueror Challenges, you're doing virtual walks in different countries or trails or whatever, even though you are really walking wherever you happen to be, or just tracking your steps. And so we did, the very first one we did was the Camino de Santiago. And the Camino de Santiago, for those that don't know, is an 800-kilometer, I think, walk across Spain. And it's a traditional one that was done by pilgrims to a place called Santiago de Compostela. And Santiago de Compostela was a pilgrimage location, and people walked there from all around, walked or rode on horses or donkeys or wherever, from all around the world, and have been doing it for probably 600-700 years. And there are trails through Europe that work their way there. Like to get to the Camino de Santiago trail, there might be one through Germany or from England or from France. And they eventually end up there, and then they're getting to this location or going right across the trail in Spain. So it's a big thing. It takes a month to walk it, and that's only if you're really, really doing it well, like even live.
Oh, okay.
Obviously,
Okay.
yeah, even if you're
Yep.
there doing it, and then there are hostels and hotels along the way. So obviously, it's not a cheap place. Hostels aren't bad, if you want to sleep in a room with 12 other snoring people. And you know what? But it might be great fun. Who knows? It might be.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
nice thing about the hostels is people have communal dinners, and they're drinking their Spanish wines or whatever.
I could see that being the
And you make
favorite part for you, is the communal dinners and the a little bit of
the community.
drinking.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a movie called The Way, and I recommend
The way.
anybody
Okay.
watch it. First of all, it's a wonderful movie starring by Emilio Estevez, produced it and directed it and wrote it, and Martin Sheen, his dad, is one of the stars.
Oh, okay.
And it's a glorious movie. Anyway, after seeing that movie, I said I want to go do the Camino, after realizing, I don't know that either one of us can go walk in Europe for a month or afford to at that point, or take off work at that point, but we did the virtual one. So that's how we got into it. Again, here I go rambling again, but
I
um,
I think the
when
key
you,
from these virtual walks that you're talking about is that it sets a goal and then you have to accomplish it, right? So it keeps you
yeah,
motivated to keep going. And
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the Conqueror Challenge one, you subscribe to each walk. I think it costs $29 for that walk. But that walk, you may do it in a month, you may take 6 months. So it's a
Mhm.
lot of motivation over a period of time. And what it does on the app is it's using Google Maps in the background and things like that, but it sends you emails, postcards, tracks it on the map, like where you are there.
Okay.
After
Okay. Yeah.
after I've done 50 kilometers, I may be in the town of Burgos. In
Mm-hmm.
Burgos, it shows what road I'm on in Burgos live. I can look around virtually and see where I
Oh,
am. I
that's
can move
neat.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can move forward as I do my steps.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible app. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did over a period of about 3 years about 20 of these tours. And
Wow.
they've actually done ones now that are not real places, but there's a Lord of the Rings series that you're going through.
Oh, like
Yeah,
in the movie, in the book, and
yeah,
sort of thing. Like
yeah,
what their
yes,
journey is.
yeah. I have seen
Hmm.
movies. I can't remember what the worlds are called and all that, but anyway, they do
Yeah.
that, or the Harry Potter series. So they've got that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like geography and travel, so that's my thing. But
Hmm.
anyway, Conqueror Challenges, if you look it up for anybody, not an affiliate, but just like it. Bonnie and I did that a lot, to the point that legs were like rocks. And this was also one thing to help Bonnie, as her initially dementia, now Alzheimer's, was getting bad. So it
Hmm.
was to keep her calm. And she got really into it. But gradually it was too much, that we would go do 10, 12, even one day 18 kilometers. And
Wow.
then I'd get home, and 10 minutes later, she'd say, "You want to go for a walk?" And
Wow. She's
like,
nonstop.
yeah, but no, but
Yeah.
in some
She.
cases she was forgetting we did.
Hmm.
And she was, when that was going on, she was hospitalized fairly soon after that. But it was a great a great walk. And even if you just go, and I'm looking across. I tried to have the view the other way, but the sun was shining on my computer then. I'm looking across over to the Grand River, and there's a trail down below me, and that trail goes all the way from my end of Cambridge. Well, it goes. You can go to Hamilton going one way, uh, north up to Kitchener going the other way, or you can get on the Trans Canada Trail
Wow.
and go, either direction.
Yeah.
But it's lovely. This next 10 kilometers of trails is all bush, and along the river, you see the river at some points, not much of it, but you do. And it's a lovely trail to walk on. So it's really great in the summer. It gets icy in the winter because they don't maintain it. Anyway, again, here I go. I'm rambling, but I like to tell stories, and they're all based on reality. So,
Yeah.
so walking is good. Now, what I did run into a groin injury once when I was walking, and it was the first ever groin injury, and that was because I wasn't stretching enough, right? And the
Hmm.
hamstrings will get tight. Your calves will get tight. Your hamstrings will get tight when you're walking like crazy.
Yeah.
Not your arms. There's no weight on your arms. You're swinging them and moving them, but they didn't get tight.
Hmm.
So, and we'll talk extensively about groin injuries and that in another episode. Now, what do you want to mention?
So you talked about getting those rock hard legs, right? So in
Mm,
pickleball, it's all about how low you can get. The lower,
yeah,
the wider stance, building up
yeah,
those leg muscles is very
yeah,
key to advancing. When you watch high level players, you can see how low they get at that kitchen line, and they're attacking and picking up dinks and going side to side lunges. So a few tips for just people at home. I always tell any of the students that do lunges, just go across your driveway or down in the garage or living room or something. Do a lot of lunges, bunch of wall sits and squats. We want to build up those leg muscles.
lunges being the leg out in front of the other, bent knee, and then
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because we want to get
Okay.
strong in that low position, essentially.
Yes.
Right? That's
Yeah.
why, like,
Yep.
wall
Yep.
sits with your back against the wall, your knees are out 90 degrees. Um, just
Yep.
building up those muscles and just slowly trying to do them longer and longer.
Yep.
Maybe the first time you
Yep.
do 20 and then you do 30, and just every day you just keep adding a few more, and you'd be surprised how much that will help your game when the
Yep.
legs are strong. So
Yeah.
that would be
Yep.
my tip on fitness. Obviously, doing the walking, the swimming, jump rope. Jump rope. I've seen a lot of pros bring jump ropes to the courts, and they'll do a 5-minute jump rope before they start as a warm up. It
Yep.
really helps get the whole body kind of loose, the jump rope. So,
Yep.
yeah, throwing something like that in your bag. Maybe somebody hasn't shown up yet, and you just do a little jump rope every time you get to the court.
Yep.
That's a nice easy one you can do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll add to that. I am pretty much unable to do jump rope because unless I get my core a little stronger, I'll get a sciatic nerve issue.
Yeah,
And
obviously, like if you have
yeah,
injuries that
I
you
got
don't
to
want
get it.
to, you don't
Yeah,
want to help. Yeah.
yeah. But one thing I will say is the third part that I'm going to do and add to it is a resistance band training. I'm not into big lifting weights at a
Okay.
gym.
Yep.
I'm not into it, but resistance band are an easier, more convenient way to do it. I got a ladybug crawling into my coffee cup here. Sorry, buddy. There you go. So resistance bands, I've got ones from a company called Undersun Fitness. They're on Amazon, but there are many. Undersun's kind of a premium band. They come in different thicknesses. These are not the wide, really flimsy, thin. Like I use some around my legs when I'm doing some stretches that are,
Okay.
yellow, green, red, that are only about that wide.
Yep.
And they come in different thicknesses. These are a more thicker rubber. And then they come in widths of about this to this to this to this to this.
Okay.
And so they're simulating lifting anywhere from 20 to 200 pounds. Okay. And then they have a workout program associated with it and things. They used to sell it. I don't know if they do, but again, there's books on it. There's books on Amazon about resistant band training. I'm not trying to teach it here, but I enjoyed it. I got to watch again some of it because, again, if I'm pulling up a heavy weight, which is standing, pulling up a heavy weight, it's compressing my spine. And that's going to give me the back problem again. But for other things like this or leg things where I'm, using it to a kick up or a fly or whatever they call them, going up and down and all that. Again, not knowing names of anything, I've never paid attention to that. I enjoy it. So I would, if anybody's into resistance bands, they're usually about $30 to $50 a set. And there are very inexpensive or free books on Amazon if you are a member of their Amazon Unlimited program. Or there are training programs like ones from Undersun Fitness. And theirs are good, by the way. But I might have an affiliate link. I don't think I do. It doesn't matter. I'm not worried about it. But I like that. And that's convenient because it's not a matter of, packing all the gear, going to the gym, changing, getting in the locker room, going to do all your weights or do whatever, have a shower, This is grab my things here. I can be sitting here right now with one of them.
Yep.
Literally doing that. And so if things are more convenient, I'm more inclined to do it.
Yeah.
Now other people have that focus that
They need to go away and not have the distractions at home, right?
Yeah.
They start working out and then they're like, oh, the laundry goes off. Now I got to go do the laundry. And then they don't get back to, the actual fitness, right? So you got to find out what works for yourself. Do you need a distraction and go somewhere, or can you just do something at home and multitask?
Yeah. We're all different. We're all different. You work with what you work with. I mean, I work from home. I know what distractions are all about. And I even try when I have to accomplish something, really have to focus because I am, I don't know if it's ADD or ODHD or whatever.
OCD and ADHD. You probably got both, huh?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I got something. I know that. But I can be distracted and go off on a tangent, as we've seen.
Yeah.
And, I've got 70 years of thoughts in my brain rattling around there. And, everyone triggers another memory. So, or experience. So anyway, here I'm doing it again. But one thing I do when I have a lot of tasks to do, I put my to-do list together and I use a little timer. And for those of you who don't know, it's called a Pomodoro method. And the Pomodoro method says, I'm going to work on this task for these many minutes, like 20. But I'm going to take a breathing break or a walk, like go walk 50 yards or whatever, whatever number of minutes. But when I come back, I'm going right back to the same task. Whatever. And so without remembering all the stuff, I only put it back on my computer yesterday. I do have a lot of work to do right now that I was not expecting a few weeks ago, and I'm only activated again. But you could literally use a egg timer, and that
Yeah.
Pomodoro happens to be tomato I believe in Italian, and there are little tomato timers like this too, and that's where they got the
Okay.
name from, I guess.
Okay.
But anyway, Pomodoro method is an interesting thing, and there are apps for it, free ones and paid ones, as like everything. And it's the whole idea of the thing is to have a dedicated focus to a task for a short period of time to get it done, and then take a break, and then have it continue whatever if it's the same task or on to the next one if it's complete, etc. But so that I'm not looking at Twitter and Facebook as I'm recording a video with you, Mark, and I'm not getting distracted because I can get distracted. The whole idea is
Yep.
focus on that activity. Like if we had it right now, we could take a pause, have our coffee, take a break from recording, get a little walk in, and come back. But we're not doing it in one podcast here because we don't want to edit at all. So that's a kind of a technique that I like to use to help me keep on track when I have 20 different tasks to do in a day. Right? So
Yeah.
again,
So
I got diverted there.
I think that's
But as
a
far
good
as
tip.
as far as fitness goes, though, I think those are for me a little bit of the weights with the bands, some swimming, naturally stretching, and your techniques of just body movement and doing various exercises that way. We could possibly put a list together, but it won't be in the next while. I also, because of the groin injury, I do have specific injuries to do or specific
Stretches.
stretches to do every day for the groin injury. And I've added a couple for my back because I've always had a back issue, and they're not focusing on the back. They're focusing on strengthening the core.
The core.
And,
yeah, which is key. I think
yeah,
everybody always agrees strengthening the core for anything. Even in pickleball, getting more power on your shots, having that core strength leads to that because we start to do a little rotation as we want to get more power. And having that stronger core helps with that for sure. Yeah.
Strong
Definitely.
core and flexible groin.
All the two keys.
More than I think, much more than I've never. Well, other than broken shoulder and separated shoulder, I've had both on each side. I've never had arm issues playing pickleball. I know other people do, and they have shoulder issues or elbow issues and all that. I haven't, but boy, pickleball, the side to side movement is really demanding on your groin. The dinking is demanding on your groin. Getting down low is demanding on your groin. And so that it just is all that core area. Now, so I've got about 6 exercises I do. I won't go through them here, but they are covered. 5 of the 6 are groin, 1 is core, and I'm going to add one other one on that's going to be a pelvic type thing, and that also will help back and other things. So and again, it's tight to the groin too. So it's all important, but the groin injury is kind of loosens the pelvic muscles and things. So I wanted to add one extra exercise to help that. So that's really key. Let's take a break from talking fitness a little bit. I want to mention a guest we're going to be having next week. I just have to open up my iPad. In fact, I'm just going to hold it in front of me. I said we'd have a guest on next week. I have to go to a page here that I had open before. It's not open now, so one moment. Here we go. So next week we're going to have a guest who's I've heard on some other podcasts, and they reached out to us. His name is Dr. Erik Koren. This is going to be pretty interesting, I believe. Erik is an all-round pickleball physical and mental expert. He has a doctorate. I'm going to get into a little bit more detail. I'm not going to read the whole bio, though. But he's worked with both the NFL and the NCAA, and recently really put a focus on pickleball, which the popularity of pickleball is obviously growing. He with the NFL, he served as a performance coach and sports scientist in the NFL. He did the similar in the NCAA with a few universities. We'll get into that when he's on specifically. But a couple of the teams he's been with is the Houston Texans. He managed the sports science program for them. As far as NCAA, he was the first sports scientist in America in football with the NCAA, and he did a high performance program at the University of Kentucky. Anyway, Erik is coming on. He has a number of topics. I'm not going to get into all the different topics because we're only going to be talking one, and that one's really of interest to me. And we're going to be talking about mental health and its relationship to pickleball, what it can do for people with challenges, what it can do to improve any of us, and even how to use your mental health and train it a bit to help you with your pickleball. That's a dear top subject to me, Mark, because mental health issues that were going on with my wife is what prompted me to get involved in pickleball in the very first place. For those who don't know, with my wife having been at the time diagnosed with dementia, but now Alzheimer's, and when she was finally hospitalized, I started playing pickleball the next day. I'd never played it before, but it looked like I thought, what am I going to do with my life now? I'll go see my wife, but I got a lot of other hours in the day to do. And at the time, my work wasn't as busy as it is now. And I thought, I don't have so much to do. I want to be in better shape. I want to get out and have some fun. I want to meet some other people and all that. But for about a number of years, I was pretty much homebound with my wife, helping her and dealing with her questions and things like that. So it got me into playing pickleball, and I got addicted on day 2. I then was finding a problem in Cambridge a few years ago that there just weren't enough facilities, and instead of getting more at the time, they were getting to be fewer, and that's why I started up Cambridge Pickleball Club. So the one thing led to the other. Again, I found a thing that I found also, there was no coverage of pickleball in Canada at all. There are clubs, and there's Pickleball Canada and the provincial associations, but there was no news site or anything, and that's why we started Pickleball Today. And then with Pickleball Today, we started our podcast. So indirectly, everything I've done in pickleball, other than being a great player, because I'm not, is directly tied to the origination of getting into it because of the challenges my wife was going through with her mental health. As well, though, I go through my own challenges with my mental health. I go through it in pickleball as well. In like letting people go on runs because I'm worried about the last point, not the next point.
That's a good point.
Things,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
Thinking about the last point, not the next point. Or just having a bit of a, pissed off feeling building up inside of me because I'm playing poor. I never, I can't say, maybe once in 2, excuse me. Maybe once in 2 years I was pissed off with an opponent because frankly, it was the guy I entered in a tournament with that said he was a certain level player, and he refused to go to the net no matter what, or go to the kitchen line. And yet he said he was a highly skilled, highly trained player, and we got smoked every game. They know exactly where to put the ball every time because he was standing deep, generally behind the baseline, and they would throw a dink there, and his excuse was, I can always run forward. It's really hard for me to run backward. But even though he ran forward, he never got. Yeah. Even though he ran forward, he never got the ball, and it literally a weekend was wasted with this. So I got pissed off.
Mhm.
I never said it to him. I kept on saying, come up, come up. No,
Yeah.
nope. And we get smoked.
Yeah.
So, but that's the only partner in 2 years that I've ever gotten upset with. The rest of the time, I get upset with myself, right? And that's the mental health things that I want to overcome.
Mhm.
And all of these things, Dr. Erik Koren, again, long time to describe a guest, but that's why I think what he'll have will not just be valuable for me, but for a lot of people, right? Now,
Yeah.
Erik has
No.
an app. Erik has an app as well that he teaches on. He'll talk a little bit about it. I have been struggling to get it working with my particular watch. So I know it works with Apple Watches. I don't have an Apple Watch, but I've struggled getting much of it other than steps working with my own watch. So it might be the model, your year, or software level, and I haven't had time to look at it. I'll try, or maybe I can get. What do you have a smartwatch of any kind?
I do not use any smartwatches. I'm old
Okay,
school, and I
okay,
just like
all
a
right,
normal watch. Yep.
okay, fair enough. I like a normal
Mm.
watch too, but again, with all
Yep.
the tracking we did with all our walking, I like this.
Yeah. No, that
But
makes
anyway,
sense. Yeah.
I was going to try to have experience with his app before we talked about it, and I will still try if I have time to really dig into the issue. But I've been too busy on client issues for the last while,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have some work to do on that. And tomorrow is moving day for my wife. So, with that said, Erik's going to be a guest next week, and we'll look forward to it. And we'll do. I think we'll do all three of us on, Mark, and just see. One can observe and talk and ask a question once in a while, and the others cannot do. But I
Okay.
think we're going to let Erik. I think Erik will be talking the most, and then we will possibly interject with a question. We know interjecting is tricky on this platform. Possibly we will go to our questions at the end, being
Okay.
there's three of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I'm looking forward to him being on. That said, other topics. Do you have any others? I've got one, but I want to open it to you beforehand.
I was going to give one coaching tip,
Okay.
kind of related to the whole fitness, and you mentioned your partner running and all that sort of thing. So what do we do in that situation, right? When you have to run to get the ball, and I mean run fast to get the ball, what we have to think about is then we have to hit that shot as soft as possible. And most players, when they are running to hit the ball, then they just whack it back over the
Yeah.
net
Yep.
super hard.
Yep.
And
It's hard to.
it's hard to stop the momentum, but you
Yep.
need to, if you have to run fast, you have to hit soft. The
It's
reason
so hard to
is
do that.
it is because you're just hurting yourself. If you hit that ball back over the net super fast, then they are just going to use that power against you that you just gave, and that ball is going to come back at you
Yeah.
even quicker, and you're
Yep.
already out of position, right? So what we want
Or
to,
you're putting it out or high or
yep,
yeah, it's all kinds
yeah.
of yes.
So where we want
That is
to
a real
aim is, yeah, no, it's good. Where we want to aim is essentially a soft shot, ideally into the kitchen, cross court. We want to go cross court because we want to have the ability that our partner can hopefully take the next shot from, because we're kind of out of position. We might get back, we might halfly get back. And by going cross court, it allows our partner that the ball's over on their side in front of them, and maybe they can cut off the next shot or somehow play the next shot. And by going slow, it gives you that maybe an extra step or two to get back into position. So a drill I do with the players that take lessons is I get them to start at the baseline. I hit a soft shot over the net, just over the kitchen line, not into the kitchen, but like over the kitchen line, and they have to run and then slowly hit that ball back. And the first 4 or 5 shots they do, they're all hitting it way too hard. But you'd be surprised after you do it 10, 15 times of running and then thinking to hit slow, you actually can slow down that ball pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's just something you have to
I love it.
practice. Not many
Yep.
people practice something like that. But
Yep.
anytime you think you're out of position, essentially think I need to hit the ball back as slow and soft as possible to buy yourself that little extra time to get back into position. So that's the tip for today. Always remember, practice the backhand shots, not just your forehand shots, because it's a little trickier on the backhand.
Yep. That's a great tip. I have noticed often, and I've even said it, it's hard to run fast and hit soft.
Yep.
And I've never thought that I wasn't ever sure that was a desired thing to do, but I knew it was getting me in trouble when I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, like, I knew it was something for me. I didn't know it was something for everybody, but the more I think about it,
Pat,
the more
you're not the only one. Everybody is doing that. They're just running. It's hard to stop that momentum, right? You're just
yeah. But that's why I like talking about. We're a really unique podcast in this, in that you have a guy who's a high level coach, yourself, a guy who's a very low level coach. I only teach beginner day one almost.
Mm-hmm.
And but you get to have the experience of such a wide variety of players. We also have, between you and I, we span 3 generations. Like, I could be your grandfather. Okay. And we should call itself the Gen 3 Pickleball Podcast. But anyway,
oh, there you go.
It's been used, I guess. But we're the only podcast that I've seen anywhere that is like that.
Yep.
It's usually 2 young guys, 2 young girls, 2 pro players. Whatever. It's like people generally are the same age. They're either both pros, or they're either both paddle reviewers, or both, whatever. They're always the same generation. Nobody's covering. Well, there's a couple senior oriented podcasts, but it's just seniors on it. But having you and me together, I think, is a great blend. We're very unique.
And we're trying to cover more of the typical player, right? That just looking for that little extra tip or something that they didn't think about, or they should try out. We're not trying to take you to a 5.5 pro tour player. We're just trying to get you a little bit better on the court, so you enjoy your tournaments. Maybe you get a few more wins, and you slowly level up your game with your friends and stuff around. So
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I'm not. My goal is to be a 4.0 player, and that's not even in the next year. So, but I just think we're kind of unique this way, that we started very unique to just be Canada, and now we're doing more than just Canada, but because so many of our viewers are outside of Canada, but so that was an accident. But we are unique in covering this wide generation, and with a focus more on just players, just regular people. We're not trying to be pros, like playing pros, and we aren't just talking about a tournament all day long. Like, a tournament's on all weekend, and there's podcasts that all they do is talk about that tournament. Well, if I watch the tournament, I don't need to hear about it, other than maybe. I mean, if I watch a Leaf game, I don't mind listening to a podcast about it. So maybe that's true. But But if that's all they do, after a while, unless you're an addict to that particular tournament, why would you do that, right? They're popular. I'm not saying they're not. They're very popular because pro tournaments are popular. That's a perfect
I was just going to
segue.
say, Pat, is this your segue into your pickleball tours, results, standings, rant?
Perfect segue, 100% by accident. Here's my rant. There are so many good tournaments on. We only have so much time. It's hard to figure out what's on where at what time. It's hard to figure out where you're going to find it, right? But that's not the rant. The rant. And like, I've overcome those things. And I have Pickleball TV. You can go to pickleballtv.com on your web browser and watch whatever's on there. You can also watch tournaments sometimes on YouTube. You can watch them sometimes on Prime Video. And then I have I use an app for my TV. So I even have Pickleball TV on there, and a couple other pickleball channels on there. So I can find it whenever it's on it, if at least if it's in North America, I can find it. But here's the thing I can't find that is, I think, is ridiculous. I can't find standings of if there's a tournament that's just been on all weekend. Well, first of all, let me segue. If the NFL had games yesterday, you can go to the NFL website and see what the standings are, right?
Yep.
You can see who won and what the standings are. If the NBA did it, same thing. If the NHL did it, same thing. If any minor league sports league did it here in Ontario, the Ontario Hockey League, or anywhere in North America, NCAA, whatever, you can find them all.
Yeah.
If you try to find the current standings for Major League Pickleball after their weekend of thing, so they've had tournaments and getting into playoffs. You can go to their website. You can go to pickleball.com, who owns PPA, Major League Pickleball, They'll have individual game results, but no standings. So I don't know the bracket of who just played this weekend and who moves on to the next level. It is
because
not unique.
you can't watch every game all the time. And
Right,
I've been in the same spot where I'm just like, oh, I wonder what the standings are at. Who's doing well? I'll try to maybe catch the next game. And I've had the same struggle as where are these standings?
And it's not just them. So I use that as an example because people know them. But just this weekend, there was just this weekend, or maybe a little earlier in the week, there was what's called the Pickleball World Cup, which sounds great and probably was great. And there was Canadian players there. There was U.S. players there. This World Cup was actually held in Peru. And so this was the first one for 2024. I don't know if there's like it's going to be like a World Cup, Formula One or skiing, that there's going to be multiples. I don't know.
Oh,
yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I know PPA and MLP are doing some kind of World Series as well that's different. So, but aside from that, in fact, one of their events will be in Toronto. But the Pickleball World Cup was on this weekend, and lots of players are posting in Instagram, pictures, maybe their result of a match. And maybe who won it, the overall tournament. But I can't 100% tell that. And I would think, holy gee, if you're going to have something like the World Cup, I should be able to go to the website for the World Cup and see actually who won it. Maybe not just who was going to be in it. Maybe not a post that was done 3 weeks ago. But there should be a place. And that's the rant with almost every pickleball league. Now, even our Canadian leagues, they initially were having some problems with that, but they got that done. It might have taken a day, but they do have websites, and they did show the results. Might not have been live, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know the people, I might, before a podcast, I might even say, hey, do you have the results and who won the whole thing, or let me know. Now, a number of them I was also at, so found it. But I'm not sitting here, or I'm not going through Instagram, filtering out every post I see on Instagram, trying to figure it out. Who's got time for that shit? Excuse my French.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And by the way, Instagram is the most popular place for pickleball players, it seems, and leagues and all that stuff to post things. I don't do a lot of Instagram, and it's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have nothing against it. I know my daughter uses it a lot. I do see a lot of her stuff, and I follow some of these other people. I just don't go on it all that often. But I'm not seeing standings there. I did check. I'm seeing individual posts about individual matches.
Yeah.
So when somebody's doing a podcast like this and wants to promote your league, wouldn't it be nice if they could go to your website, see what they need to promote your league, not force them to go spend hours of research to do it or a weekend of viewing to figure it out? It's just ridiculous. And with the money involved, not maybe in the Pickleball World Cup, don't know how much is involved in that, But with the money involved in PPA and Major League Pickleball in the investments, it's shameful that they can't get stuff like that on the Major League Pickleball website live. They'll talk about upcoming stuff and all that, but I am not. And somebody can correct me and say, you're an idiot. What did you rant about? It's there. I didn't see it. I looked again today. I looked yesterday. But their finals are on the weekend of the 22nd, or semifinals and finals. So, and if you search Major League Pickleball, find their website, go there. I don't think it's there. That's the rant. Again, I went along, but it's just make it easy for people, folks. Make it easy for people to watch your sport. Make it easy for people to view the results. Make it easy for people to view the standings. Don't make them search social media on many different platforms and build that all because you guys are too lazy to do it yourself. How about that?
Yeah.
Fair rant?
Fair rant.
I think it's
definitely worth it because I think everybody that's tried to watch pickleball or in the pickleball scene has had issues at some point trying to find out the standings because it is tough. Yeah. It's tough out there. Let's just hope it's just growing pains. Let's just hope it's growing pains in 2025. They figure it out.
With that said, this is our longest ever episode. Well, maybe not. We're still under an hour. Should we fill? No, I'm just kidding. There's a long episode. We're not going to edit it. I think we covered what we wanted to cover. Excuse me for adjusting my screen. But there's been a lot going on, and we are back, and we'll be back next week. Dr. Erik Koren joining us, and I'm really looking forward to it. Mark, I know I've talked a lot today, but and I thank you for your tips. But we'll get you more, less me, more you, in the future.
We'll keep working at it, Pat.
Yeah, we'll keep working on it. Right? We didn't talk paddles today. I'm not going to take any time to talk paddles. No. I know you're loving your bread and butter. I know I'm loving a 6-0 particularly right now, but we're not going to review paddles today. Might talk about one or two next week with after Dr. Erik. But with that said, everybody, thank you for joining us. Hit like, hit subscribe. I know we're supposed to have said that about 10 other times. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'll put an icon or something on the screen at the end to do it. But if you hit like, I do have one last thing. Our giveaways, we're still giving away paddles. I should have said that early on. I might have to insert something. Pickleballtv.com/ because hardly anybody gets to the bitter end. Pickleballtv.com/.co/win takes you to the page. End of the contest. We'll be giving one away next week, just around either before or after the podcast. I will put something about that in early in the podcast. A banner will come up or something, because again, on any podcast, the viewers go up and then they gradually tail off, especially with me rambling like I do. But those of you who stay till the bitter end, go enter. You're going to be in there before everybody else. And we don't have thousands of entries. We may have a couple hundred. So you have a 1 in 100 or 200 chance to get a $200 pickleball paddle. So get there. Congratulations for getting to the end. I hope you win. And with that said, Mark, I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Take care.